Hey y'all, I'm a little sleepy today. Things have been busy. We've had family in town, and so I haven't done a video in like 2 days, so I need to catch up. So a little bit that's been going on with me, or just in my mind, this morning is just thinking about how I was just scrolling through Facebook and just kind of seeing people talk about, complaining about this, complaining about that, or, they wanted this to change, and, you know, um, and I think that's good, some of the stuff that they're saying, because they are bringing awareness, like this is some stuff that needs to change. These are some things that need to change in our world, and, so kind of bringing awareness, so it's good. And then another thought that comes to my mind is just how, like, we are wanting to create change, but also, like, are the same people complaining, what are they doing to make a change? I think about, are they just sitting around just watching the news all the time and then just putting their opinions out there, and, like, and then, like, what are they doing to make a change? And I was just thinking, like, or maybe they've done their thing now they're in their a place of retirement and they really can't do much. But one of the things that I think that even in that situation, um, sorry, my cats are like fighting over here. um, um, okay, sorry. So back on track. But just one of the things that I think about, like, wherever we're at, even if you're not in a place where you can, get out and do something, or, work anymore, or, there's always something. And I hear a lot of people say, like, well, the least you can do is pray, or, the only thing that you can do is pray. And when I hear that, I'm thinking that's the most important thing to do, like, pray, and God will bring to the surface of a way for you to be able to help. Maybe there's a friend that's going through something, and you do feel like a lot of times when, like, family and friends are going through something, you feel like, what can I do to help them? Like, just pray about it. And a lot of times that's what they'll say. They'll say, I just need prayers right now. And that's the most important thing. Like, I think that's, if somebody says the only thing that I need you to do is pray, that's powerful. And I think that the changes that we want to put into the world will come about whether you're able to do it or not. So I think that sometimes the complaining and the criticizing and all that kind of stuff sometimes can be taken wrongly by other people. Like, there's people that are experiencing, like, if somebody's complaining about, like, all these druggies on the street or something, what can you do about it? Like, instead of complaining about what can we bring in some resources to figure out how we can do this, because that's somebody's son that's out there. I see people post videos of these druggies, and they're just talking about, oh, like, our town's going to trash because all these druggies, and it's like, where's the compassion, where's the love? Like, because all these people that are sitting out there, they didn't plan to become drug addicts. Something happened in their life that was heavy, and they couldn't carry it anymore, and they didn't know where to turn. It's like, we just need to open our hearts more to, instead of criticizing and judging a situation that's out there, how can we change this? What can we do about it? This is this is somebody's, like I said, somebody's son and daughter. Like, that's why I look at that, like that's somebody's dad, that's somebody's mom. um, Imagine if we pulled together and figured out a way to help them instead of post them on social media and laugh and say, oh, this is my town, you know. um, so it's just opening your heart more to seeing what's around, um, and how you can make the change instead. And I think about too another post that I seen. It was about well, I think I kind of said something about this, but this is just on a different, like, I guess, place where sometimes there's something going on in our country, and we do feel like sometimes there's nothing we can do. But there was this old, like, poem or something. If anybody knows it, you can throw it in the comments or something. But it's about, like, the person that was going up and down the sea line, shoreline, the shoreline. Thank you, help me out here. The shoreline, and they were picking up starfish, and they were just throwing them out, and somebody came up and they were just like, oh, you can save one, you're not going to be able to save them all, but, and I think the story goes, disclaimer, I probably got this whole story wrong, but this is the message I got out of it. And somebody came up and was like, you can't save them all. And so he was like, well, I can save this one, and I saved this one, I can save this one. So it just makes me think about, you do it for the one, and you smile, whatever it is that you feel might help somebody, or just saying hi. How many times does some people just walk around town, wherever, and nobody smile or say hi to them, like, just some people just want to be seen, some people want to just be heard, and that one little thing, one little gesture, and there was another story I was going to tell you all about. I can't, again, I don't really remember names, but I've heard stories about how, like, you think about the people that stood for change, the people that had courage to go and do something that shifted perspectives, shifted hearts, and you think about the people behind them. It could have been just one person. It could have been, a mentor, a grandma, a grandpa, a mom, dad, sister, brother, like somebody that might have just said one word to them that shifted their whole perspective and put them in a trajectory of doing great things. So you just never really know. And, I've heard stories of where people just, like, if there is a God, then, somebody's going to smile at me today. Like, I don't know. You just never know where God's going to take you. I've heard, just different stories. I'll be here all day if I sit there and really go into all the stories, but also I don't really know my stories very good sometimes, so there's that. But so yeah, I guess that's my message for today is, if you want to see a change, what's the one little thing that might make a difference, and you may never know if it makes a difference. We don't know. We put things out there, we plant seeds, we water them, and sometimes we get to see the fruit of that, or we get to see, the fruit of somebody else that planted some seeds and watered them you know. So it's all a beautiful thing. So, but yes, so if you want to see a change, then be the change. Have a good day. Bye.